When you think of freelancing, you probably think of working on the projects you want, being your own boss, and setting your own hours. But is freelancing really as good as you think? Welcome back to Web Dev Simplified. My name's Kyle, and my job is to simplify the web for you so you can start building your dream project sooner. So if that sounds interesting, make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Now in this video, I really want to cover freelancing and everything you need to know about freelancing because there's a lot of positives about freelance that people talk about, but a lot of people don't realize that there's quite a few negatives involved with freelancing, and you really need to understand those negatives before you get into the world of freelancing. So if you're interested in becoming a freelancer, make sure you watch this video all the way through so you're aware of all the potential negatives. And also, I highly recommend you check out Kyle Prinsloo's complete freelance guide. It's linked down in the description below. This is going to give you the blueprint you need to get through all of the difficult parts of freelancing so you can move on to the parts that are actually fun, enjoyable, and pay well. Now, probably the biggest negative a lot of people talk about is that it's hard to get your first clients, it's hard to get started, it's hard to charge a lot of money, it's just hard in general when you start. And I mean, that's true, but almost everyone going into freelancing knows that it's difficult to get started. You need to find clients, you need to find clients that'll pay you well, you need to find good clients, you need to get your name out there. That's all hard stuff, but we already kind of know that. So I want to talk about the less known things that are difficult. Probably the biggest of all of these comes from what is essentially the biggest positive, and that's the fact that you are your own boss. But what you don't realize when you're a freelancer is that really you have a lot of bosses. Every single client that you take on is essentially a new boss that you're taking on. They have deadlines, they have projects, they have needs, they have wants. You need to talk with them, communicate with them. You're essentially recruiting your own boss, which can be a good thing if you choose the correct bosses, you choose the correct clients, and you make sure that there's a good relationship set up there. But especially when you're getting started, it's hard to find those really good clients, and it's hard to even know when you're experienced which clients are good versus bad. So it's very easy to take on a client that ends up becoming an overworking boss for you that just constantly is breathing down your neck, and it's just a terrible experience. Then if you have multiple clients, you multiply that by 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Now you have essentially 9 bosses breathing down your neck trying to get you to hit certain deadlines that are unrealistic, and it becomes a nightmare. Now, like I said, this can be partially alleviated by the fact that if you choose good clients and set up a good working relationship, you really can set it up so that you are the boss of yourself and they are just your client and they're not really breathing down your neck. But it is really easy to fall into the trap of just taking on a bunch of clients that end up just being your boss. Another thing kind of related to the fact that you're your own boss is that you're in complete control of everything that happens. And that is great. I mean, you set your own hours, you work when you want, you do what you want. But what happens when you get sick? What happens if you want to go on vacation for a week? Well, when that happens, you don't get paid vacation, you don't get paid sick time, you don't get paid at all because you're not working for your clients. When you're doing freelance, you only get paid for the hours that you work. And yes, when you are freelancing, you can get paid more per hour than as like a normal employee. But the problem is that when you're not working, you don't get paid at all. And a lot of people don't realize that because you're used to getting, 10, 15 days of vacation, maybe some sick time on top of that. And you're used to all of these benefits that you get working at a company. But when you're on your own, all of that falls on yourself. So if you want to take 2 weeks of vacation, you better make sure you have 2 weeks of money saved up so that you can actually pay your bills, pay your rent, pay whatever it is you need because you're not going to be getting any salary in during that meantime. Now, if you're able to structure things out well and work diligently, you definitely get paid more money per hour as a freelancer than as an employee, which greatly outweighs the fact that you no longer have benefits such as vacation time, sick time, medical benefits if you're in the US, for example. All of those things are outweighed by the fact you get paid more, but it is something you need to consider when you start to become a freelancer because it can be something if you don't think about that really bites you in the butt and you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? I can't take any vacation. Now also on that vein of getting paid more per hour, yes, you may get paid more per hour, but generally when you're freelancing, you're probably going to have less billable hours that you can work than you actually think because you need to be able to find clients, you need to be able to network, you need to be able to run your own business, run your taxes, do accounting, all of that additional stuff that when you're an employee of a company, you don't care about any of that. You don't have to worry about doing taxes for the company. You don't have to worry about finding new clients for the company. You just go in there, you write some code and you leave. When you're freelancing, you have to manage the entire business yourself as well as the actual development work that you're doing. So the amount of billable hours you think you have is greatly reduced by the fact that you need to do all of the networking, all of the business tasks, all of the administration, all the email, everything like that is handled by you. Now, luckily, once you get used to freelancing, you get used to running the business side of things, these tasks become much easier and more manageable, especially tasks such as networking, because as you start to build out a network, you don't have to spend nearly as much time going out and trying to find new people for your network. You already have a nice network built up, so you can save a lot of additional time. But a lot of people that get started in freelancing don't realize how much time they actually need to spend on non-development work. And they start to get discouraged because they're saying, oh, I'm working 80 hours a week on development, but I don't have any new clients. I can't find anything, it's just difficult. It's because they're not spending that time that they need on the actual business side of things. Now, another reason people really get into freelancing is because of the ability to work on projects that you actually truly care about. And I mean, I'm totally behind you on that one. I mean, there's only so many company dashboard analytic tools that you can create before you just go crazy and don't want to do any more web development. And luckily, with freelance, you really can choose the projects you want. But the problem is, in the business world, there's a lot of, analytics tools and CRUD applications that you have to build. And when you're freelancing, there's a lot of those type of applications that people need freelancers for. It's not just in the actual company environment that you run into this, but all the time people are hiring freelancers to build those exact same things. So if you're just open to any job, that may be easier to find those jobs because less people want them. But when you're first getting started and you're having a hard time finding jobs, many times you're going to have to take these less desirable jobs that you may not care as much about because you've already built 1,000 CRUD apps. You don't really want to build another one, but you just do it because you can. But as you get more experience, you build your network, you build your reputation, it's much easier to say no to projects because you have so many more offers coming in and you can really pick the ones that you care about. So once you start to build up your reputation, it's so much easier to say, you know what, I really value this, nonprofits project that they want to work on, so I'm going to do this instead of building another business CRUD app. Now, I've talked a bunch about all the negatives of freelancing, but it really truly is an amazing thing that you can do, especially if you like setting your own hours and working for yourself. Freelance can be the perfect option for you. The only downside is that it's difficult when you get started to really get into the groove, find the projects you care about, and figure out the whole business side of thing, which is why I highly recommend you check out Kyle Prinsloo's complete freelance guide. This is going to pretty much walk you through everything you need to know about getting started with freelance. It's going to teach you all of the difficult business side of things. That way you can just jump straight into the fun part of building projects and getting paid well. So if you're interested in checking that out, I'll have a link down in the description. This is an affiliate link, so I'll get a small cut of the actual cost of the course. It doesn't cost you anything extra. It just directly helps out the channel if you do use that link. And with that said, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out my other videos. They'll be linked over here, and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day.